When you live in South Carolina and it's already been almost 90 degrees in the spring and all your brassicas bolt, they're chicken food. Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome back to Gil's Trap Cats, the Reselling Homestead. And today we are overdue for a video, and we're really overdue for a garden update. So as you can see, all my brassicas are totally done. It's gotten really hot here, even though it's spring, but it's like in the 90s some days. Today's exceptionally cool, but it's too late for plants like that went to seed and are flowering. So I got my summer crops in, and I'm going to show you guys what I'm growing. So I don't think you guys have seen the garden since I got these other two beds in. So first off, the tomato bed, here it is. It is very lush. These guys really shot up as soon as I got them in the ground. I have 12 indeterminate tomatoes here. I have like 2 of pretty much every variety, and then I have a couple randoms. But all these I grew from seed myself. I started these the middle of February, and it is now the middle of May, so they've been in the ground for maybe 2 weeks. I finally decided the soil temperatures were high enough, but since these are all indeterminates, they're going to get absolutely massive, and I still need to build them a nice big trellis. But for now, everybody's doing fine. My very first tomatoes are coming in right over here. They look so good. This is a Martian giant. It's like a slicer tomato, but look at them. And I've yet to see a single hornworm. It's going to be a chicken snack when I do. But everything's looking really happy so far. I'm pleasantly surprised with it. I did end up buying some marigolds to put in here because, as I talked about previously, I grew the wrong kind of marigolds. So these are the kind I wanted, these little guys with the flowers, but look at the kind that I grew myself. They're huge. They're absolutely huge. I guess they're Cracker Jack marigolds, which get really tall before they bloom. This is the closest one to blooming, but even this has been looking like this for like 5 days. But they're all over, so I guess when it does bloom, it's going to be nice. But I can't believe what a little jungle moment this is. I had no idea marigolds could look like this. Terracotta saucers that are here, I'm going to bury a terracotta pot that's going to serve as what's called an Oya. O-L-L-A, Oya. It's a passive watering system. It's going to help because in the summer it gets hot in here, and I don't want to water constantly. So there's the tomato bed, and then you turn around, this is the other large bed. So this bed is basically beans and corn, and I did plant some corn from starts. This is a hybrid sweet corn. It's actually a bantam, so I guess it's going to be kind of short. And I've never grown corn before, and I didn't realize how many you could fit in a space. So I ended up having to go to the feed store and just buying whatever sweet corn they got, and I seeded the rest. So it should be coming up here in a few days. It's something called Golden Queen. It's going to grow here. So that's like 1/3 of the bed is going to be corn. And then I've got 2 little eggplants here. These are Chinese string eggplants. One of them is blooming. Isn't it sweet? It looks so cute. They're supposed to be able to take the heat. So 2 eggplants. That's a borage flower there, which should get really big. And then in the back I've got 3 pink beauty amaranths, which also get to be like 8 feet. And the rest of the bed is going to be bush beans. And again, I completely underestimated how many I could plant. So I only started like a handful, but this whole thing, each square foot takes 9. So these are burgundy bush beans, Provider, and Landreth stringless. And when I went to the feed store, all they had was something called Bronco beans. So that's going to be everything else. And then I have this funky wire up because I can't keep the cats out. I think this is cats. It's probably hard to tell on camera, but there's a pretty deep hole right there. Well, I know it was cats because one day, obviously, a cat had used the restroom here. And then I put this wire up. But then even after this wire was up, this appeared. So maybe it's squirrels. Luckily, there's nothing planted here. I don't know. And then I got my still hanging in there onions as the barrier to this side. So for anyone wondering, these 2 beds here are 12 by 4s. And then over here, these 2 beds are 7 by 3s. Now this bed here had a nice big bushy nasturtium in it until it just fell over and cracked off one day. And I guess that's it. And this one is kind of doing that too. But he's hanging in there. The leafy greens that were here all bolted. I had lots more tatsoys and things, pulled them all out. And the only brassica type plants that are left are my couple of kales. This is a dazzling blue kale, and this is a Vates dwarf kale. And then in between each of them is a Kometsuna mustard. And everything's doing pretty good. I guess they can take some heat. I don't know what I'm going to plant in here yet. Oh, I got some random bunching onions that are doing pretty good. They're getting bigger. I don't know what I'm going to plant in here where I pulled everything out. I stuck one bush bean just for fun in there. And then I have this one little lettuce, which now that it's cool, I think I might get this one to grow. This is, it's called like a strawberry cabbage lettuce or something. It's speckled like this, which is pretty. But I'm afraid it's going to get too hot, but we'll see. And I have one more sad one over here. So I don't know, maybe more beans? I don't know what to put here. I gotta think about it. And then turn around, and here's the other small bed. So again, this corner is just overtaken by the Cracker Jack marigolds. And then along the back are my Sugar Daddy snap peas, which are doing well, but something's going on with them. Because if you come down here, they look sad. I don't know what this is. I don't know if it's some kind of wilt. I don't know if it's from the aphids that were here pretty bad. But it's sad because it's pretty much just producing peas. Oh, there's a slug. Okay, we don't need you here, sir. Now it's a chicken treat. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to make it. It's probably too hot. So I think I'm just going to eat the ones that are here. And then I'm going to interplant Kentucky Wonder Beans and let them trellis up a bit. But if you come around to the front of this bed, what's still going really strong is my Swiss chard. It's doing great. It doesn't seem to mind the heat, and it's delicious. We've eaten it a lot. And in the front here, I did have something growing called Italco dandelion greens, which is actually a type of chicory. And those, along with the Mizuna that I pulled out of that bed, I preserved. I'm going to show you guys some clips. So I followed this interesting method where you blanch them, immediately freeze them, and then squeeze as much water out as possible into these little balls that you flash freeze and then put into a bag. And it seems like it worked. They look good. I haven't eaten any yet, but I preserved quite a bit. Okay, from here, if you turn around one more time, here's the flower bed, which is coming along too. So I've shown you guys before, I got my butterfly bush in, and look, it's starting to bloom. The first blooms are coming in. Isn't it cute? It's called Miss Ruby, and it's doing good. And then I also planted this Cleome here, this white queen, and she's also blooming, and she looks really cool. It's just like a funky looking flower, and there's more coming in. Salvia's doing good. My black-eyed Susans are huge, but still not blooming. And then I just recently transplanted a few more things. So this side of the flower garden, I did buy a little lantana, which honestly got roughed up in a cat fight out here one day. But she's coming back. And then these I started from seeds. So this is a Gomphrena. This and that. They come in multiple colors. I can tell this one's going to be white. I'm hoping this is going to be like a pink or purple. And these, I'm excited because you can dry them and they're really good for tea. And then back here, I have a coxcomb. This is a tornado red variety. It should get really big and put out some huge blooms. So I'm excited for that. And then I sprinkled tons of zinnia seeds, so I'm just kind of waiting for those to pop up. Here's the garden from another angle. So looking up at the house, the flower bed here, which I still need to get this custom sign in with our name on it. But look at my pansies that are blooming. Aren't they pretty? These are called aqua viola. And then I have this sweet little petunia here, but I think I'm actually going to move this because I wanted something to grow even lower. And I just caved and bought some stuff. Look at this guy. Oh, so pretty. This is a candy shop candy bouquet. Calibrachoa. I don't know. Anyway, that is going to go in that spot, and that petunia is going to go in a hanging pot. And then I've got some other funky flowers here. Look at these. I see stuff, I just have to buy it. Isn't that cool? This is a Cleosia. Let's see here. Hello. Someone's coming to invade my garden video. I don't know what this is called. It's related to this guy. It's, yeah, Cleosia. Anyway, I bought a couple of those because they're so pretty. Aren't they?
That's right.
Anyway, so they're going to go, I don't know, somewhere in here. And then I got more zinnias ready to go out over here. And my little fireworks red, white, and blue bachelor buttons are getting tall. And here's my plant stand tile top hoarding zone, which this just got added today because someone went to the estate sale without me.
I did.
Well, I chose to stay home today, but I looked at the pictures and I said, get me that. And he brought it. It's so nice. I don't know where it's going to go, but it's pretty. Okay, now I'm going to show you guys a bit of my container gardening that I have going on, which for now is still just kind of sitting. I've got 2 blueberries. This one's got some berries. One of my garden friends here gave this to me. Thank you, Erica. And yeah, it has nice little berries forming on it. And then this is my leftover blueberry from last year. And the sheriff is here guarding it, so don't even think about it, okay? But anyway, I don't think this one's going to do anything because he suffered in a pot for like a year. But I want to get these in the ground eventually. And then I also have this nice elderberry that I picked up from a local plant sale. Also needs to go in the ground, but you know, it's on the to-do list. Now I got one brassica in a container still hanging on, and it's this Yad Fa Chinese broccoli. It's blooming, and I think it's really pretty. I think you can still eat it at this stage, but basically I'm snapping them off, and they're putting out these fresh shoots, which are more tender. So at this point I would snap this off and eat it with these little leaves. This plant's actually really tasty. It's kind of like a broccoli asparagus combo, and it doesn't mind the heat as much as other things. Even these that are blooming, I just give it to the girls, but I honestly like the way it looks. So it's over here in mostly shade, and it's doing well. Okay, wow, I just walked past the old compost, and I didn't realize how good this pumpkin was doing. Look at this compost pumpkin. He is growing. Are there any blooms yet? Oh, that might be one right there. Wow, this thing is growing awesome. I said I wasn't going to grow pumpkins because allegedly they're like a lot of fertilization required. But he's going to grow right here in the compost. Good for him. Look at that bolting lettuce. It's going to be chicken food too. Okay, before I get off track, the rest of the container garden. I have to go up on the front porch to show you guys this one. So come up the steps here. Here it is. My yearly Caladium arrangement. I do not grow these from seed. I just buy the stuff and put it together. I love Caladiums. These never grew in California. It was just not humid enough, and they love it here, and I think they look so tropical and awesome. Oh, and look at this. Don't mind this. It's a shade cloth for the girls. But look at this plant. This is a Rex begonia escargot. It's a begonia that's grown for these leaves that look like snails. Isn't it cool? It's pretty tropical-ish too, but I think it should be fine out here over the summer. And also, look, it looks like it wants to flower. It's just cool. I love these tropical guys. Okay, let's head down the stairs over here to the rest of the container garden area. So I showed you guys the onions. And now these 2 right here. These 2, actually these 4. So these 2 containers previously had radishes that I harvested, and this was garlic. But I just replanted with these, which are Chinese multicolor spinach. It's actually a type of amaranth. It's grown for its leaves, and it's supposed to take the heat. But something is eating it like crazy. But whatever, I'm just gonna let it go and see what happens. And then here's a couple of peppers that we have going on. I think I mentioned before that Chris is kind of taking over the peppers, but we have this is a habanero, and this over here is a datil. Now this one I actually did start from seed, and I handed it over to him because I don't want to grow it. Oh, this was where my carrots were. I did harvest them. You know, they came out okay. you can see them. The problem is they're mostly greens. I think that the soil was just a little too nitrogen rich. But whatever, the greens are still good. The chickens eat them, we'll eat them. I'm getting ready to replant this. Here's my plan, you guys ready? It makes sense in my mind. So I love this greenhouse, but it's summer and there's no need for it at all. So what I'm gonna do is take this greenhouse plastic down, and in these probably 2 grow bags right here, I'm going to plant some kind of trellising bean, and it's gonna be like a little bean house. You can like walk inside of it and the beans are gonna be hanging down. I'm actually gonna grow Chinese red noodle beans, which get really long, and I think it'll be super cool. So everybody cross your fingers that works. In my mind it's going to. Let's see if it happens. All right, let's talk potatoes. The potatoes are still popping it out over here. I can't believe how many flowers they have. I mean, look at these. They look a little sad right now, but usually they're open and, oh, they're all falling off right now. Oh, you guys are getting done already. Nobody's biting that off, right? No, they're done. They've been flowering for a while. When they're flowering, it means they're making tubers or potatoes. So I'm really excited. I think I might have a pretty decent potato harvest. And yeah, this whole thing is just so lush. You don't pull these until they completely die back. So I think we probably have at least another 4 to 6 weeks. But these look great. This is the Kennebec variety. It's like a russet. It's supposed to grow well here in the upstate. The only thing is, here's my one concern. This variety, this is Adirondack Blue, and I think it has a potato virus. Because look at the leaves. It just keeps doing this. It is putting out new ones, new leaves though, so I don't know, but these ones keep doing that. And apparently that virus is spread by aphids, and we have had aphids. And you know what? I'm really glad I didn't treat them. I've had aphids on every part of the garden so far, and I mean, it's the middle of May and I haven't used any pesticides at all. I also don't use any fertilizers. I don't really do anything. My goal is to provide really good soil and healthy plants. Anyway, I didn't do anything about the aphids, and the natural predators have really come in. There are tons of ladybugs and also earwigs and crane flies, which are all predators of aphids. And so I'm trying to foster that ecosystem, even though I am sacrificing some of my vegetables in the process, but in the long run, it's going to be worth it. Okay, finally, let's talk about the last of my seedlings that I have going on. I have more gomphrenias here. I think I'm going to put some down by our mailbox and just let them do whatever. These are more coxcombs, and then here are my squash. So I have something here called Early Prolific Summer Squash. It's like a small yellow variety. And then I have a couple, these are white scallops. They're like a patty pan. I'm really excited for these. I'm a little nervous. Squash vine borers are really a problem here. I think I might try to cover these, but pretty soon these guys are going to get in their own grow bags and then turn around yet again, and these guys just don't want to stand up. These are my leftover tomatoes. Too many tomatoes, couldn't even give them away. They're all cherries, and these are probably going to become part of the chicken garden. And then over here I still have a few other flowers. Look at these. They're sunflowers. They're dying to get out of there. I gotta find a place for them. So I've got some sunflowers. Oh yeah, and then I also have melons here. So I've got sugar baby watermelons. These are crimson sweet. This is more squash that I didn't mean to plant. Luckily only one came up. And then this is a honey rock melon, which is kind of like a cantaloupe. And then I have a couple more random flowers here. I got some cosmos that could go out. Another borage, which I probably don't need. And then here I planted some columbines, but none of them sprouted. So I don't know. Maybe it was too late. Not sure. So that's pretty much the garden and what I've got going on now. I'd like to take a second and just kind of talk about our property. We've been here for a year now, and it's really, really interesting to see some of the changes. So any of you guys that are new here, we are in Upstate South Carolina. We are north of Greenville. So that's the climate here. We're like a 7B, 8A climate zone. And it's really, really interesting to just see the things that grow here uninterrupted by us humans. So basically what I mean is it's weed central here. But I love it. I like to see what grows on its own. We got a huge dock here. The girls like eating it. So, I mean, I didn't have to do anything. This planted itself and it's continuing to go. Back here, it looked really pretty recently. This was a whole like field or like a hill of something called lyre leaf sage. And it has a really pretty little purple bloom, but they're pretty much done now. I guess they're probably going to have some seeds here soon. But this looks so nice. And you know, when we got into this property, I mean, obviously we haven't mowed, but even when we were mowing, it was just grass. So clearly the prior occupants were spraying herbicides. And it just makes me feel like, why? What's wrong with the way this looks? I think it looks really nice, and it has really fostered quite a habitat here because we're seeing more and more things like frogs, different types of bugs, and birds. We have a lot of birds that we didn't have last year, which I think is really cool. We got tons of plantain growing right around the house too, which if you didn't know, you get a bug bite, you just grab a leaf, squish it up, rub it on, immediately takes away the itch and the pain, which is pretty cool. I've definitely picked up an interest in foraging and natural medicines, and the more that we just leave the property undisturbed, the more stuff we find. Okay, I'm about to close this out. Thank you guys for letting me show you the garden. It's so fun to share it. And I did mention the chicken garden. I'm going to tell you guys my idea. And look at them, they're so excited. They're like, our own garden. So this little spot right here, I'm going to dig up the grass. I'm going to make a little outline bed. This is all wood that was just left on the property. And I'm going to grow whatever here, and I'm not going to water it or care about it. And whatever grows, the girls can eat. I'm going to put those extra tomatoes, some other leafy greens, and just let them go crazy, and it'll be chicken food. It's a good way to supplement their feed. And the only thing they have so far is one little sunflower right here. He looks so small right now, but one day he's going to get bigger than you, Rose. Very big. And then you guys can eat the seeds, which will be fun. Okay, y'all, that's it for today. Thank you for letting me show you around. I'm excited to keep working and expanding the garden. I have so many plans up here. It's just the time and energy to do them. And then, of course, our reselling business still needs attention. And the chickens, and, you know, it's a lot of work. And I have to Google everything because nobody taught me any of this except me. So thanks for sticking around, and we will see you guys on the next one. Bye.